What's up, y'all? Boogie Night here, and welcome back to the Who's Your Creator and What Do They Do cast. I know this is a little bit different from previous times when I've done it as a live stream, but since streaming is kind of off the table right now, we're doing this as a pre-recorded podcast to YouTube. A very special episode today. For longtime viewers of the Boogie Night Project, y'all know that I've talked about a certain game called Anathema till I'm blue in the face and how much I've loved it. Probably easily the best demo I've played to date, and if anything, I'm looking forward to the final episode when it's come out. So I've been talking off and on with one of these guys for a long time through Esperware Interactive, so I'm very pleased to have all three programmers and developers of Esperware Interactive with me today. I've got with me Matt, programmer, animator, and developer. How's it going, Matt?
Good, good. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I've got Josh, the keeper of the lore, story writer, and music composer. What's going on, Josh?
How you guys doing?
Awesome. And then Nick, who does the compositing, shot creators, and overall script lackey. His words, not mine. What's up, Nick?
Hello, hello.
So, very excited to have you guys here on the cast. I really, really do appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to answer my questions and stuff. So, what this is going to be like is I'll be talking to y'all about Esperware ideas and stuff like that, and then I'll be replaying, I should say, the demo for Anathema. So for those of y'all that just want to see the Anathema demo without the commentary from me and the developers, I'll put a link in the description below to that episode, as well as a link in the description below to Esperware's Twitter page and the Anathema page on Steam, and then any other pages y'all want to have me work with. Sound good?
That sounds good. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Sweet. Okay, so I guess first of all, let's just get down to brass tacks and the basics. How exactly did you guys as individuals get your start in the game design field?
Really, for me, it just goes back to the mid '90s. As a homeschooled kid, I didn't have any friends, so all I had was my computer.
Story of my life.
I picked up a program called Click and Play, and it was a program that just lets you make simple games without any programming knowledge. And over time, I stepped away from that. But over the last probably 10 years, I would just somewhat start dabbling with things again, and interest would grow. And we did, I did a Castlevania fan game about 10 years ago. And eventually it just hit a point where I wanted to do something original. So when I first started that in 2014, I approached Josh because I knew that he's a very, very adept musician, and I knew that he would be able to handle the music far better than I would be able to do it. So we started this project together, and then over the course of it, we brought Nick on because he would be able to handle a lot of the shot compositing and presentation of the cutscenes far better than either of us could.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that was pretty much my introduction to it. Is Matt saying, "Hey, man, you think maybe you could help me out with making music of this game?" It's like, yeah, okay. I've never done that before, but all right.
Well, and in fairness to Josh, Josh was in a band, and so was Matt. And actually, I was in Josh's band, so there already was sort of musical heritage.
Sure.
And so the idea of Josh doing the music was not as far out as one might think, but nonetheless, it was a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, like music was not a new thing to me, but making music for a video game,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. And as far as how I got on, I actually Josh was also homeschooled. I actually went to a public school, but I still didn't have a life, so it works out fine. I'm older than them by a few years, so. I had the 486 computer and Windows 3.1 and all of that.
God, don't even get me started on 3.1.
All that stuff too,
Well,
man.
I know, but still, I just want to make you feel young, and
Okay.
both you feel young, me feel old. And anyway, so
This
so
is turning into a Frank Sinatra song.
that's right, exactly. But we can't because we're going to be demonetized. But so I ended up sort of. Josh and I had actually dabbled with making our own RPG long
time
ago. We never got even a finished script. It was always Josh would kind of design characters. I kind of composed some themes for the characters. We would start to write a script. We'd get a third of the way through the game and say, let's start over. And kept doing that over and over. So nothing ever came of it. But so we kind of had that background. And then, like Matt said, they approached me and asked if I wanted to be involved because my I was a communication major in college, and so I kind of had some background. I did some student films, and so I was like, yeah, sure. And
Right
yeah,
on.
here we are.
Yep.
Yeah, communications. That was my major too, so I know what y'all mean.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Awesome. Now, of course, I have my theories on how you came up with the name Esperware, but it's easier to get it from the horse's mouth. So, how did you come up with Esperware, the name specifically?
Well,
Go
we had a seance and rolled some.
Got an old priest and a new priest.
The old gods in the new.
I wish it was an interesting story like that, but it was just simple. I was sitting there one day and thought I need a name, and I remembered my brother used to play Final Fantasy 3/6 on SNES a lot, and I would watch him play. And the story of the Espers always intrigued me. And interestingly enough, through coincidence, Josh's band's name was Phoenix Down.
That's right.
So
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of a tie-in to Final Fantasy, but purely coincidence.
Okay, that was exactly what my theory was. It had to have been after the Espers of FF3/6, but I wasn't entirely sure. So that makes perfect sense. So, up till present, how long has Anathema been in development?
Oh, don't ask that question.
Too late. It's becoming vaporware.
It officially began development in October of 2014 in its original incarnation. And then we launched a Steam Greenlight campaign in either April or May of 2015. I can't remember exactly, but once it got greenlit, that was when Josh and I had went to the drawing board and said, okay, we took some of the feedback that we got and we did the revision, which was the demo that we put out in 2017. So it's gone through quite a few stages, but from the initial concept and the moment that I said, hey, let's do this, October of 2014, far too long.
No, I
Basically,
mean,
as
go ahead.
Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, it's been since before you were born.
I don't know about that. I'm an 80s baby, so
There you go.
I'm with you on that. So it's just the three of you guys doing development. Do you have any other people like you have contracted out for like voice acting and stuff?
Yeah, we've worked with a few people. We've got the main cast for the voice actors. We have Amy Smith, who has been known mostly for Freedom Planet. She's the voice of Aurora. We have Duffy Weber voicing Azrael, which not many people have really heard. We're kind of keeping him a secret for the most part to make it an impact when he does finally show up. And we have Kira Buckland, who is most known as 2B in the latest Nier game, and she's done some other things like Street Fighter V. And then we also have worked with a guy named Craig out of California. He's done a lot of some concept and key art for us where we would present him a sketch and then he would help us out. But his biggest role is he has actually created 3D models of certain elements for us. So he actually sculpted the new outfit for Aurora. And he also did a couple of enemies for us that we haven't really shown too much of yet. Well, one of them we did in an update, and one of them is still pending. But other than that, we've had a couple of people off of some forums where I kind of frequent here and there that did some testing, but it's been a pretty small crew.
Well, sometimes it's got to be like a well-oiled machine then. I mean, that's what I've always enjoyed about it. Is just, I mean, because there's a couple of solo indie developers I know, but I mean, you know, they just take pride in doing everything themselves. But God only knows how long a solo person can do. But the fact that you have some people with decent clout from other games, I mean, that's awesome. And the voice acting is second to none.
Yeah, we've got some great talent here. We're really proud of how it's turned out. In the beginning, we didn't anticipate voice acting at all, so it was kind of a whim.
Well, it's funny you say that because Anathema was actually the first demo I played that actually had an introductory cutscene as well as the cutscene at the end, which for those that are watching, you guys will see later on, provided that the game doesn't glitch like it did when I played it that one time last year. That little codec thing.
Yeah.
My computer's getting old.
And we've kind of we've done some revisions to the way the cutscene system works now.
Mhm.
So hopefully that won't be a problem in the future.
Yeah, it should just be something that every computer now by default plays.
Mhm. Well, you never know with my computer. I mean, there's some games that I play Unreal just folds up like a wet blanket. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, really?
So it's not just us.
Aha.
No, that's what I turned into the guy from Cool Hand Luke. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. So before we dive into the game itself, I guess the big question would be, how did you come up with the overall idea for Anathema? I mean, obviously there's some biblical references like Azrael being the actual angel of death according to Judeo-Christian lore. So how did you come up with the actual idea?
You want me to
Do you
take
want
that,
me to
Matt?
start? Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to take that or if you wanted me to start with the original concept and then you take
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
rest of it.
Yeah,
You'll probably have the same answer as me, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, the original concept was me being a huge fan of Castlevania. There's a incredible lack of that right now. Konami has just shunned that, and original, not Metroidvania.
Right.
So the concept was just to kind of flip some of the roles instead of the vampire being the main baddie. Just make that death. So we just took it from there, but then we wanted to actually have a story more so than just every 100 years someone fights this bad dude. So that's where Josh and Nick comes in.
Yeah. There were a lot of revisions to that story too. I mean, there were. I mean, originally it was going to be, it wasn't going to be every 100 years. You know, this bad guy rises up and the whoever you're playing as the protagonist has to go fight him. But like, there was a basis in reality. I think that's part of where the more Christian influence came from. Is it was the original version of the story. I mean, I think it. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't it take place in England?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the original version was very heavily grounded in reality.
Yeah, and so then we kind of thought, well, hey, if we make this our own world, we can do
Whatever we want.
whatever. So
That's the
yeah,
way
we
to
just
do
took
it.
it out of reality completely.
And then, once those sort of floodgates opened of, okay, well, we can really just sort of do world building. Again, this sort of more mine and Josh's history with world building for RPGs we never made kind of kicked back in.
Yep.
And so the three of us just sort of bounced ideas off one another and took elements. And I was actually actually taught philosophy at the undergraduate level at a community college for a number of years. Josh actually was one of my students for a semester, which was fun. But so for me to bring in the philosophy, religion sort of stuff, was exciting to me.
Yeah.
And again, it was I think it's important to Josh too. And so we just it kind of started building layers upon layers.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's really awesome. I mean, I can really dig that because I went to a Catholic college, and we had to take 3 semesters of theology and 3 of philosophy. So when I realized that Azrael actually was the angel of death from that lore, of course, the inner nerd in me just squeaked so loud a pack of dogs ran up the driveway.
Alrighty then.
A fun fact about how we actually named Azrael was Josh and I are huge fans of Dogma by Kevin Smith.
Oh God.
And just Jason Lee is awesome in that. So yeah.
Well, he'll always be Brody from Mallrats to me.
That kid is back on
On the
that
escalator. That bastard moves faster than Walt Flanagan's dog.
Hope a bloodbath ensues. Okay.
Oh God! And the conversation just shifts. No, well, and it's funny too because I mean, some people probably don't realize this. I mean, those that have played the Darksiders game, I mean, there is a modicum of reality in those games. Like you do get to meet the Angel of Death in Darksiders 1, I believe it was, and his name was Azrael as well. And then I think it even goes back into the Jewish Kabbalah, not the Jewish, yeah, the Kabbalah about Azrael being that. So I think that's really cool. That was grounded in reality.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, guys. We got to change it now.
I remembered it vaguely, But it was sort of one of those things that's like, oh yeah, I forgot how much that name has
Significance.
historical significance, and so yeah.
Now we know, and knowing is half the battle.
Right.
G.I. Joe!
Yes! I was hoping somebody would get that reference. Oh god, no, that's awesome. So, yeah, so I mean, and then I guess the next question would be, before we get into the game too, is how did the design for Aurora come up? I mean, is it just because you really guys wanted to flip this traditional Castlevania, Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, kind of put it in almost Metroid's perspective with the female protagonist? Was there somebody y'all had in mind for the design for her, for the sprite, that kind of thing?
No, it's one of those things that's actually a far less interesting answer. So I'm by design not an artist. I can barely draw a stick figure. So the biggest drawback that would prevent me really from dabbling with games on a higher level was art assets. And so we use a program called Daz Studio to make our sprites, and we render them out as pre-rendered images. And the simple fact of the matter is for probably every 50 female figures and clothing assets and whatnot, you have like maybe one male. So we just had more options to make a female figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then of course now the final her design that we've just sort of revealed to the world, that was more intentional, because at first it was sort of using what assets were available, what we could find that
we kind of cobbled them together like a costume shop.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, you're gonna wear these pants and you're gonna put on this top and you're gonna have this kind of hair. And then we finally got to a point where this sort of urge to be as much original content as possible finally kind of won out. You know, we all sort of wanted to maybe, redesign the character, but we just were not ready to pull the trigger and bite the bullet. And then we finally did, because we kind of got to the point where, okay, we can kind of design it. I kind of did a quick, like Josh drew it out, because Josh is the sort of the actual pen artist of the three of us.
Barely.
The closest to it anyway. And so Josh kind of drew it out, and then I sort of did a low poly mock-up in Blender. And we took those assets and we gave them to Craig, and then Craig did the full sculpting. So we finally have kind of gotten to the point where what started off as a matter of convenience has sort of become, this is a purposeful, intentional design that we kind of can get more excited about internally, by seeing something that started from scratch up here in our heads.
Gotcha. And I mean, I'm looking at the Aurora model that you guys released on Twitter, and I'm thinking about her voice, and it actually matches up perfectly to the promotional image of her. So I think that's actually pretty well done when you think about it, because I'm looking at her, and I'm almost seeing like a Lucy Lawless like vibe to it. It's gonna be a new plug, and you guys will have like flaming chakrams as one of her missile attacks.
That was actually, talking about the voice fitting. I mean, that was actually a really, really, really tough process to go through. I mean, it was 50 or 60 different people like that auditioned for, and like, no offense to these actors, but I mean, I think there were some of them that just didn't quite understand what we were going for. I mean, we had, for example, like one of the people that read for Aaron. She was straight up Sookie Stackhouse from True Blood.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And that's not what we were looking for.
I assume because they saw an image of Aaron in a swamp that's what their thought was. So
yeah, pretty much. And but I mean, once Amy, because Amy, I don't even think was a part of those original audition, or at least that pool of people. I think and Amy just kind of came out of nowhere and I mean, knocked it out of the park. She did a great job. And same with the other two actors as well. I mean, Keira Buckland did a great job. Duffy is a talent on the rise for sure.
Nice. Yeah, because I think it completely fit those roles to a T. I mean, just not trying to sound like a kiss ass or anything, but like but at the same, but yeah, no, I know I'm being redundant here. Um, but at the end when she says the die is cast, like I got goosebumps because it was just so ominous. So like the voice intonation was rock solid,
Cool.
and I can really dig that.
Yeah, hopefully she ends up being a more interesting character once people see the full fleshed out story, because the demo is just a small flavor, and even that isn't fully representative of what the current script is, which is
Yeah.
huge.
The demo is very much based on some very early ideas we had for the story. Now a lot of that is going to carry over into the new version, but her personality is a little bit different.
Yeah, she's essentially the same character, but I think you'll find that there's a little bit more. It's not tonal whiplash at all because we wrote something that's consistent, but but it is tonally. It does have its lighter moments. It's not Marvel movie level. It's not Poe Dameron messing with Hux at the beginning of that Star Wars movie I like to talk about level of whoa. But yeah, she's what you see in the demo, but with more facets to her personality.
Yep.
So
all
Yeah,
of a sudden
everyone
you
is
just
much.
scrap the acting and Tilda Swinton comes in and does everything. That makes perfect sense. So I've already asked Matt about this a while ago about how Ninja Gaiden, the original for like Nintendo, Metroid, and Castlevania, like seem to be the big three massive inspirations behind Anathema. But like, what other games were kind of floating in the back of y'all's minds that would maybe be slightly influential towards this product?
Um, I think it depends on what aspect you talk about. I mean, because like for the cutscene idea, for example, like just having something, and that's straight up from Ninja Gaiden. I mean, unabashedly from Ninja Gaiden, because that Ninja Gaiden 2, especially for the NES, is probably my favorite all-time game.
Oh God, yes.
And the idea, what I really loved about that game, while the gameplay is great and everything, it had this. You were going between levels, getting these little snippets of story, and it really kept you going. I mean, it really kept you wanting to get past the next level so I can see the next bit of story. And so that was a huge influence on Anathema. I mean, musically, even I mean, Ninja Gaiden, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, like ActRaiser, even.
Oh wow.
Huge influence on me.
Well, see, and Josh and I have known each other since Josh was born, and I mean, I go over and spend the night with him and hang out, and he had a Nintendo Entertainment System in his parents' bedroom, and at that time, again, something like Ninja Gaiden 2, I remember sitting on his parents' bed with him, and we're playing this game, and at the time, that sort of level of storytelling to complement the gameplay, and then again, like you say, with some of the other games you mentioned, like ActRaiser and what have you, those were sort of influential games on us. And Ninja Gaiden, I know we explicitly, the three of us, talked about when we were talking about how to do the cutscenes and such. But a lot of these other games are just sort of rattling around in our heads and find ways to be expressed. And like you said, that idea of I'm going to enjoy the story so that way I won't throw the controller against the room when those stupid birds keep hitting me. And
Don't even start about the birds. Oh my God.
Exactly. So it's sort of a what would it be, like a frustration mitigation technique? To have a story that you enjoy. So that notion was definitely part of it. Given that the game itself, from a gameplay standpoint, is also unabashedly, look, you're gonna need to work to play the game. It's not gonna just hand everything to you.
That's almost like very, I guess, to kind of bring it up to present, almost kind of like a very Dark Souls-y thing.
Yes, Dark Souls was an influence on this game, 100%.
Yeah, especially for me. I didn't even get into Dark Souls until the third one came out, and Josh was just hounding me to play these games. And so I finally did, and boy, I fell in love with that. So when Dark Souls 3 came out in 2016, there was definitely an influence shift from just their art style into what I would take into account when I'm creating art assets for the game. And really some other influences beyond Ninja Gaiden is the Ghost and Goblin series. That is a major influence, especially in level design.
Did notice that a little bit in the swamp level.
Yeah, that and even there's even bits of Rygar influence for the NES version, not the arcade, but
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Now we just gotta show. You just gotta like break it for like an Easter egg Karnov from the original for NES.
oh man, yeah. Oof.
That would be a nice little teaser. So, all right. So with that, we're gonna move on into actually playing the game. So y'all watching can actually see the gameplay footage, and we can kind of talk more about the levels, the enemies, the sprites, and stuff like that. So how does that sound?
All
Yeah,
right.
it sounds good.
All
Do
right.
it.
Do it. Do it. Do it now.
Do the chopper.
Come on.
Okay, so I'm going to crank down the audio config for the game a little bit so we're not shouting over each other. Well, there we go. So let me go ahead and do that, and then Matt, I'll let you know when I get in so you can share the screen.
Okay.
Okay, nice little. I like that intro for Esperware. That's pretty solid.
Thank you.
Completely forgot about that. Alright, so go ahead and switch over on OBS. There we go. Ooh, that's a different logo for Anathema when I remember from the first demo, but I just re-downloaded it on Steam.
What version did you originally have? Was it the first one we put out?
I believe it was the one from maybe, it might have been Game Jolt even. Was it Game
okay.
or IndieDB or whatever? The non-Steam was, I thought.
Yeah, it could have been. It was on IndieDB and itch.io as well.
Okay, so this is something brand new then for intro-wise. And by the way, I'm up and running, Matt, so whenever you want to pop in.
Let's see. I'm trying to get it pulled up here.
Okay, no worries. I'm still just kind of focusing on the demonic Big Ben with the murder of crows around it.
Hurry up, Matt. I can't see anything.
Down in front, sit down!
What are we doing? We're guessing. I guess they're gonna play the game.
Was that a Men in Tights reference?
Yes, it is.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Did you say Abe Lincoln? No,
Nope.
I said.
Hey, Blinken! Hold the reins, man! Okay, let me crank down the sound effects a little bit more. I can actually also re-look at... Okay, wow, this options menu is completely different. I'll be shucked and boiled.
I honestly don't know where to go to see what you're playing.
There should be, if... I think... Hang on, let me go back into Steam right quick. And I believe if you go to my, name on the friends list, you can see, bollocks, I think you have to go to my profile, so let me go to your profile really quickly. There should be an option under your profile, or maybe you can just right-click my name.
Yeah, I'm on your profile. It shows you as offline, though.
Okay, let me pop it to online then. That would explain why. Oh yeah, because I'm on... There we go. So now I'm online, so there might be a way for... Okay, I think you can just or you can just click on the drop thing and then go to invite to watch. Or let me send you an invite to watch. There we go. That might work.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go. So I'll just minimize that. So let me know if you get the pop-up and if you can see Aurora covered with snow.
I'm waiting on it to connect.
Alright. Okay, I guess Steam is now saying... There we go. Steam, we should be okay now, I think. Are you in?
I'm waiting on the broadcast to start.
Okay, never mind, because I'm not broadcasting it.
There we go.
Okay,
Yep,
so
I
we're
see
in.
it now.
Okay, because I didn't think I was broadcasting, but okay, we'll go with it. Okay, so there we go. So I guess we're doing a private broadcast then. Hooray! No. Yeah, main menu. So let's do this. And it just kicked me out. You guys still there?
Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, it just kicked me out. Let me go back in. Not sure what the heck happened. Modern technology. Clicked on main menu and it kicked me right out. Shocker.
And people think robots are going to take over.
Skynet's just biding her time, man. I'll tell you.
I don't know, man. I saw one robot the other day on the news
Huh?
doing some kind of like gymnastics or something. I see that.
I did not, but I've heard things like that. Pretty fancy.
It's weird.
I saw this robot one time that turned into a truck.
Oh wait, we're talking about robot jocks? No.
It was a truck, not a monkey.
Okay, so resume game.
And they had these dog ones too.
Alright, so okay, so by clicking main menu, for whatever reason that kicked me out. So now that we just did resume game, I think we should be okay. Matt, are you seeing my screen?
No, it says the broadcast is ended.
Okay, let me send you another invite then. And let me just
Okay.
make sure OBS is doing it. Okay, OBS is doing its thing. So, invite you to watch. There we go. So that's a little bug right there I just noticed. Clicking main
Yeah,
menu
the-
will kick you out.
I'll have to look at that. I didn't realize it was doing that.
But by clicking resume game, it should be okay. So let me know when you can see things and we'll start it again.
Well, I got the link, but it didn't do anything.
Let me... Okay, I'm going to click out of our chat and go back in and then try and start in... Let's see, invite to watch. Let's try that again. Close out that particular chat and let's see if this works.
There's also the 2 squares in Skype that allows you to share your screen. I wonder if that would work.
Yeah, let's give that a go. If this doesn't work, give it another second, then we'll do the share screen.
Okay.
For now, our viewers can patiently watch the murder of crows and Aurora staring tentatively at them.
Should we like tell jokes or something?
No. No.
Oh, I told a really bad dad joke earlier today that I'm sure I'm going to hell for. Eddie Money's wife. Eddie Money's waiting for his wife in heaven because he's got 2 tickets to paradise.
Oh, that is grown worthy, and definitely a dad joke.
Oh, come on, that's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny.
good. No. It's not a criticism. Just it's just like fine wine. You have to swirl it around in your head, and savor it.
He might be able to walk on water now, though.
Oh!
Oh no.
I'm just gonna take that one home tonight. Okay, any luck, Matt? If not, we'll just do the share screen.
No, sorry, I don't see anything.
That's odd. Okay, so let me just try the share screen on Skype and see if that works. Start sharing.
Hey, there it is.
Hey, so all of y'all can actually see me play it then, and we can all do our commentary.
Yes.
Alright, so let's go ahead and dive right in then, and and you guys can just talk over the cutscene. I've never seen time attack, so story mode it is. No, let's not do tutorial video. I will relearn this from scratch.
They say it is appointed to man once to die, but by whose hand? On the surface, it might appear
Oh, look,
to be
the
another
video's
mortal,
working.
or
Hey!
disease,
See,
a
hooray!
wild beast, or even the earth itself. But in truth, the answer is always the same. the angel of
So
death.
this part's got a lot of really
For most
fine
of our
acting.
history,
And
that angel was Azrael, powerful servant to the Creator.
But yeah, so
He was also
I
known
guess while
as
we're
the
going
right
through this,
hand.
I will kind of comment on
For
it. It's
thousands
the
of
part of the
years,
demo I did.
the right hand dutifully carried
All
out
of
his
this was
task,
composited in Blender.
bearing
Matt
souls to the
did all the
afterlife,
renders, like you
once
said,
their
in
time
Daz,
here had come to an
in
end.
separate elements, and then I just sort of combined
When
everything
humanity
in
was new
Blender,
and
almost
his
like
task
little
beginning,
dioramas.
the right
So
hand shared the
all
Creator's
these people are
affection for
individual
us.
sort of billboard
But over
sprites, if you
time,
will. I just
that
sort of set
affection
them
gave
up
way
on
to
the ground, and
concern,
then use the
disappointment,
compositing to do
and
all the sort of
since the Creator stubbornly
different
continued to
effects
care
and
for the increasingly
transparency.
selfish and petty humans,
And it was really sort of our
resentment.
first. Okay, let's
And
see
so
what all
Azrael
Blender can
denounced
do.
his
I've been
title and
fooling with
his
Blender
role,
since it
and sought a way
almost
to take revenge
since
on
it
the
came
Creator
out publicly.
through
Oh,
us.
wow.
He
And
sowed
so
war amongst
I've
the
been sort
8
of
kingdoms
dabbling with it off
and
and on
unleashed the
since
sickness
then.
known as
So I
Devil's
was sort of
Plague.
one of the three of us
Each
that had
soul
the
that
most
perished,
knowledge with
he
it. I'm
put
like,
into
guys, I think we
service
can
in
do
his
this in
army.
Blender.
The goal,
And so we gave it a
eradicate
shot,
humanity,
and I
then,
think
if
it
possible,
turned out,
the Creator.
decently enough.
But one man stood against
and
him.
was sort of a lot of
My
fun. Like the
father,
rain
Corbin.
here was really fun to do.
12 years
Oh,
ago
yeah.
when the plague began.
And so,
Over
so
time,
yeah,
he
we're
became the
going to end
largest
up
threat
using
to
this
Azrael's
sort of
plan.
technique for some parts
After
of the full
fighting through
game.
the right
The
hand's
other
demon
parts are
horde,
going to have
Corbin
cutscenes that
eventually
are
faced the
done a
former
little
angel
bit different.
himself, and won.
To
But
sort of
since there must be an
vary
angel
things
to
up,
usher
I guess
souls
you
into
might
the
say,
afterlife,
and keep the flow
my
going.
father took Azrael's place
Gotcha.
as the angel of death.
Now, I love the screenshot
However,
of Corbin
even
covered
though he
with
was imbued
snow.
with Azrael's power,
Almost kind of like
he was
Sean
not
Bean from
immortal.
Game of Thrones.
after many
Right.
years, Azrael's followers
Sean
returned
Bean
to finish
curse.
what he could
Well,
not.
he does die.
After
there
his
you go.
death,
Yep.
Corbin's divine
Dead
power was
immediately.
transferred to the next
Right.
in his line.
It's like, look at this guy, he's my daddy, he's dead.
Now, I must put an end to those who wish to carry on Azrael's work.
Totally
The ones
different
who now
outfit
call
now.
Ma'am, you're wearing the wrong
themselves
clothing.
the Black Dawn.
This wasn't in your
At
wardrobe.
all costs, I will seek out
We
those
told you to
who
get rid of
murdered
that.
my father. I will not rest
She's Aurora, she
until
can do whatever
every
she
one
wants.
of them has been
That's
sent
right.
back from whence they came.
That's right, she don't need no
I am the
3
only
developer
one who
men
can
to tell
stop
her what to wear.
I am Aurora Delacroix.
Oh my! Wow.
The
Actually,
angel
kind of does if she'd
of
be
death.
naked.
That's true. She wouldn't even exist.
Sell a lot of copies that way.
That's true.
Clickbait. If you pre-order it, then she'll show up naked.
That's right. Use the Konami code.
Oh God.
Actually, my shirt right now is the Konami code shirt. I'm literally
Oh, it
wearing
is,
a
yeah.
shirt, my Konami code shirt.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on my Keep Calm and Praise the Sun shirt.
There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go. There you go.
All right, so Gravekeeper's Hollow. Okay, getting the graphics again. Okay, there's her. Okay, I just smashed an orb without even thinking about it. So this burning village we're looking at here, is this kind of like the ruins of her hometown?
No, that's actually, and I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, Aurora is kind of like, you know, she's had this job for about a year now, so she's been the Angel of Death for a year,
Yeah.
and so kind of her lot in life is to go around the countryside, right things that are wrong, and send souls to the afterlife.
So almost
And,
like a Robin Hood of the dead.
Pretty much,
Sort
yeah.
of, right, exactly. A little bit of that, a little bit of sort of almost like middle management, like the UPS, the logistics of the afterlife. You gotta get the souls and send them on. So this is really just sort of that was supposed to be just the next stop, you know, on her paper route of
Pretty much, yeah.
of the dead, if you will. And it turns out things are not exactly what she anticipated.
I mean, I'm almost expecting this. I thought you were gonna make a reference to the old Heath Ledger movie, The Order.
Ah, I could have, but no, I didn't.
Oh come on, there's a city to reference in here somewhere. So, do you guys have a specific, I guess, location for? Oh God, not this goat. Yeah, let's unleash the dragon. I mean, location in the world for where this happened.
Josh, that'd be a.
Let's see, I'm trying to think.
Because while Josh is thinking, you know, it sort of takes place in its own alternate sort of reality. I mean, this is almost like Chronicles of Narnia or something
Yeah,
like
this is
that.
like a
where it's-
Westeros type thing.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
just alternate. You know, the creator also created this place, and so it's not supposed to be any real world place,
Yeah.
but in terms of sort of influence.
Yeah, you like there are, you know, specific continents on this unique planet that are kind of analogous to, you know, our actual, you know, the real world. So that, you know, kind of where Aurora is right now is probably, you know, comparable to the United States, I would say.
Something like it, especially in terms of size. I mean, of course, stylistically, of course, it's kind of somewhere in Europe, but from a continental standpoint, yeah, this is sort of the large continent.
See, I thought you were gonna make a political joke and say it's like the United States jumped from the level of chaos that's going on here.
Well, there are times. This is a depiction of Twitter, and all of these people that are hopping up and trying to hurt her are like all the trolls on Twitter.
It's a Fortnite community.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I know I'm gonna hate myself doing this Easter egg because it made my life hell when I played the demo. Because I know what happens in here, but I'm trying to uncover as many Easter eggs as possible.
Yeah.
And exactly, I just probably died.
Oh.
No.
So for those that are watching, definitely check out my earlier concept of this, because you'll get to see me make a complete idiot of myself. But so let's go ahead and get back there, and we'll skip the Easter egg, but we'll try and pull as many Easter eggs as possible and hidden secrets.
One thing that I'll say, just since you had fell in that pit there, we are going to have different mechanics for the different modes. So in story mode, there will not be a lives mechanic, so you won't be limited and have to continue and start at the start of the level. And there will be a whole lot more checkpoints than what was in the demo, so should even things up a little bit, but there will be an arcade mode that also has the score and the lives.
That's kind of cool, because that means I can do speed runs when I get back into streaming.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, once again, as I said this already, I mean, this is probably the most beautifully designed demo that I've seen to date.
Thank you.
I mean, the amount of time and effort that, I don't know what just hurt me, but okay, we'll go with it. Gravekeeper apparently has a death rattle.
He dropped a grenade,
Okay, sneak attack.
That's right.
He's got martyrdom from Call of Duty.
Hey, that's what I was getting at. But nobody caught it.
No, but I mean, I'm seeing these mummies popping out of the ground almost like the birds from Ninja Gaiden. That was my first thought.
And these are all people that they're like, my soul was supposed to be sitting in the afterlife, lady. What are you doing? But no, Matt did a phenomenal job on all of this. I mean, especially this early stuff when I mean we were even less sort of having input than eventually we did. I mean, and like Matt showed us some stuff. We're working on some of the future levels, and for me, for example, I was the last guy to come in, and so I'd seen a lot of it before I was sort of brought on the team, and I just from the very first time I saw it really liked the art style, that it's sort of, in the same way that nowadays it's kind of the big thing is here's what an NES game you thought used to look like, but never actually looked this good.
Yeah.
This is almost the sort of Donkey Kong Country or PS1 N64 approach, but done the way we remember it, not the way that it really was. And
that was exactly the same approach to the music, because I mean the music is essentially written like it's a chip tune.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. Is it? I mean, being a retro baby, I mean, this is what really just goes back to me. Let's go ahead and stick with the dragon specialty. That's my favorite. Because it reminds me of the dragons from Castlevania. And speaking of Castlevania, we have the Medusa heads. That was my first thought when I saw this part of the original one. I'm like, oh god, they really had to throw in the Medusa heads here?
Oh, you should have played
slower.
the working version of this level. Because, my goodness, those things are toned down like by half.
Thank Godfrey for that. Because between that and the birds from Ninja Gaiden, I'm thinking you guys really are just trying to troll us now. But no, I mean, I like it. I mean, particularly framed against the mountainside and things, that very Tecmo-ish Ninja Gaiden background with the fast-moving sky.
You missed a Easter egg.
I did?
Fall down that hole right there, but stick to the wall,
Oh.
and then stick to that wall as you slide down.
Oh, hello. Nice! I think this was the one Easter egg I missed when I played the original demo, too. I could be wrong. I know you gave me some feedback on that, Matt, so I wasn't sure.
And the thing about you'd mentioned the dragon, there's a total of 5 of those Deathbringer power-ups,
Okay.
and they're going to be strewn about the levels, kind of like how the power-ups were in Mega Man X.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
you'll be able to get more of those, and then of course you have your sub-weapons.
Right. Are there going to be any more sub-weapons that you'll bring into it?
Yeah, there are some that were not in the demo. I think maybe 1 or 2.
Nice. Yep. Okay, now that we talked about Ninja Gaiden, I'm seeing Kelvaros in here.
Oh yeah.
But we'll take him down. Now, the names, I'm guessing you probably named those after the moons, Phobos and Deimos.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Actually, a fun fact, it's named after my mother-in-law, and the design is based off of my
Oh! That just
mother-in-law.
happened. Okay, this is a new attack that I've never seen before for Marlock.
Oh yeah. I think that's because probably in the original playthrough you probably beat him too fast.
I wish I was that good. No, but I mean, it's a good blend of both missile attacks and melee, and I'm not sure what that thing on the ground is that's just kind of standing there, but it makes me very concerned. Okay, now I really have to beat him because that thing's getting larger and more powerful, and I'm getting very nervous.
Good. It's
He's
working.
Alright!
He's done it. Face my wrath.
It just occurs to me that we could hum the music and won't get demonetized.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay, she's
If we
just do
were
the touchdown, Neil.
If this got demonetized, we would have to talk to some people about that.
Right.
Like you, Josh.
Oh wait.
Oh!
I filed a claim with you too.
That's right. I can't be humming my own music.
Why not? I interviewed the band Brighter Than S and Sons on Twitch, and when
I think
ported
this
it
might be it.
to YouTube, I got
When
demonetized.
I was a little girl,
Wow.
I heard stories
Whoa.
that these woods were once the home to bandits. And the place stinks like death. So it's probably pretty safe to assume that whatever is in there now isn't exactly human.
Fun fact: in the final
But it
game,
doesn't
this
really
cutscene
matter
is
now.
gone.
That's right.
I
yeah,
followed them this
she
far,
has different
and there's
things
no
that she
turning back.
says,
Really?
Now, yeah, exactly.
Wherever you are,
Because again, this
I
was
hope you're
sort of
listening.
early on in the story
I
process
could really use your
where,
whether I
basically,
succeed or
to
fail,
not get too nerdy on story
this
structure,
is the
but,
beginning of the end. And it
where,
ends tonight.
Originally, her goal was clear to her from the very beginning of the game.
Right.
And so there were no revelations from a story standpoint. There were no necessarily twists and turns. It was the beginning of the game, or actually before you start the game, you've got the mission and you just go. Well, as we sort of fleshed out the story more, we wanted to change that up. And so she actually doesn't fully realize what's going on at the beginning of the game.
Mhm.
And so her motivation for going to these first few levels is different. And so it means more story and more talking and all that kind of stuff.
Nothing wrong with that, though. I mean, I think that's great that starting something blind and then getting the sense of purpose. I mean, because when I played the demo the first time, and there was this kind of grim realization at the very end, which y'all will see in due time, dear viewers. Let's see, anything down here? Yes, there is. Always mind your surroundings, like Batman Begins.
Now, as you play this is something that I've noticed when I watch a lot of people play through the games, is they don't really use the sub-weapons.
I try to, if I can, my control, there we go. I mean, I try to use it during boss fights. Come on, come on. Oh, come on now. What is wrong with my controller? It's like, there's like a 1-second response to, there we go.
Yeah, and the trick is to not push towards the wall. I found that, because I was kind of struggling with that too, and I realized if I don't push towards the wall when I'm doing the double jump, for me anyway, it tends to work out better. I'm the worst at playing this game out of the three of us. So,
So who did the speed run the fastest?
Oh, that'd be
that'd be
Matt.
Matt for certain.
Well,
Yeah.
he's just biased.
He knows where all the secrets are.
Yeah. There's
I
probably
know all
some
their
crap
weaknesses.
programmed in the game where he can fly up in the air and go all the way to the end
He
of the
puts in
level.
a special code. Like, oh, I recognize you. You are the master user. I will let it be easy for you.
There are actually debugs in there that let you warp between the points in the level.
Oh,
But that's
come
for
on.
testing purposes. I have to be able to test certain points out, make sure things work right.
Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but that's just once again a great way to troll people. Like seeing those
Can't kill the birds.
spiders.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm kind of glad those bird things, those don't keep coming back. And I'm dead.
Oh.
Just missed it.
Playing like me.
Well, because in the original demo, you either jumped to the ladder or you died. There was
Well,
no.
there's actually two different ladders in that specific run. The one that you were going for was one of the bonus power-ups, but there
Okay.
is one at the end of the zip line.
Okay, so we're probably good for that one then. But we'll see.
Got to make you work for that fun stuff.
Gotta make this bitch
Right.
work. There we go, so now. Close. Okay. I like also how you switched from like the melee attacks in the first level to more of the ranged for this one. That's a good way to switch it up a wee bit.
Yeah, and the other thing about this level too is there's pits in it. Aside from the bridge in level 1,
Yeah.
you don't really have any pits. So it's like, okay, level 1 is your training stage. Have fun, figure it out, and then we start to really test you here.
The Dark Souls mechanic.
Yeah.
You're giving you your training pants, and now screw it, you're on your own.
Or training hot pants in that outfit's game.
Oh!
See what you did there.
Nicely done. You know there's gonna be some fanfic going on for this with Aurora, as disgusting as that sounds.
I kind of hope so.
I don't want to know what's going on there. I know we live in the South, but damn.
I just want to see what ideas people have.
Be like those episodes of Game Grumps where they read the Sonic fan fiction.
Oh, yeah. I can just see you guys doing your own version of the Game Grumps. Like in the Southern one's like, hey, I'm hick. I'm not so hick. No. Whoever's got the thickest Southern accent can sound like Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Dang it, Bobber.
Oh!
Oh.
Okay, never mind. We're just gonna go for the actual ladder this time. I tried twice, y'all. You guys saw it first.
It's much like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the end of the movie. To spoil a really old movie, let it go, Indiana. Let it go.
Let it go.
Go. Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana. That's his name, Jerry Jones Jr. Which is funny because there was a friend of mine years ago. Her dog's name was Indy, so now I can actually get away with saying we named the dog Indiana.
There you go. You are named after the dog. Sala. That's great.
Bellick's staff is too long. They're digging in the wrong place.
They're digging in the wrong place.
Okay, so there's the speed mechanic. I don't know what it's for, but it looks cool. There we go. See, I mean, I'm such a completionist. I always want to try and get every, unlockable, but... I got it in the last time I played the demo, so we should just move on. So, since this is kind of in its own fantasy world, I'm guessing that, Nope. I never thought I'd see Saved by the Spider.
See, that's one situation where hit back helps. It puts you back on the platform.
There you go. Okay, so there we go. Watch out for these damn birds that made my life hell. Don't jump for the first ladder. Well, never mind. This one you're okay. It's the second one that gets you. So how many levels do you guys think are going to be in total for this game, roughly?
12,
Okay.
depending on how you look at it. Now, like this level right here, in the demo, it's classified for the forest and the swamp as like 2A and 2B.
Right.
But we're actually just going to make that its own level, so
Gotcha.
it may end up being 13 because of that. But
Lucky 13.
yeah, if we can get there.
Live with that.
Well, we'll just have like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14.
Hey!
We'll just skip 13.
Like the buildings.
Let's be like, what level are you on? I'm on level 13. Or I'm on level 14. No, you know what level you're really on.
Exactly. Haha, you guys didn't go for the Easter egg, you suckers. Now this lift almost looks like it's made out of eggs. Like the creepy eggs of those things. So I don't know if that was intentional or not.
No, it was just my lack of artistic skills.
You know what, Matt? We've never talked about it, but that's how I read it too. Like it was eggs, which makes sense with all the because you got the weird bird people.
That's what I was thinking.
You got the big eggs there, so I figured that maybe they sometimes just reuse the eggs somehow for construction purposes. I mean, this is a weird forest. Who knows what's going on?
We use our unborn children to build our bridges.
I'm building a bridge. What are you using, my kid?
So that's why the cement smells all funny. Now I know we're coming up on the next boss, so I think we're gonna get the life thing coming up. Give me my dragon back. Actually, I don't think I've ever. Oh yeah, never mind. The dragon's different. Oop! Hi, Mr. Spider. Go away. Leave me alone. Thing up here. Ooh, might be having another secret. Yeah, no, I love the lighting and shadow in this game. It's rock solid, y'all.
That's Mr. Matt. He's doing a bang-up job, as they say. There you go.
There we go. I'm learning. There we go. So whose idea was it to use kind of like a, what's it called, the hook shot of death? Like, was it Matt's idea for the melee on this, or was it somebody else's idea to just completely go full-on Belmont from Simon's Quest?
I think Josh and I had talked about that when we first started the project. Originally, the first demo that we did, she had a whip made of the spine bones, the vertebrae of Azrael. And then when we did the revision, that was when we just basically said, let's just put a scythe on a chain. That'll be cool.
Oh god, this boss. Oh yeah. Okay, we're getting hooked. Okay, let's drag in this sucker. It did absolutely nothing. I remember this boss gave me quite a few fits back in the day when I first played this.
There you go.
Well, you said you were commenting earlier that I wasn't using some of the other weapons, so now you got it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of the sub-weapons have different effects on everyone, so it's kind of like Mega Man, where you have some weapons that these enemies are really weak against. You just have to kind of toy around with it.
That's cool, though. I mean, I like that a lot about a game. That way, wow, that was quick.
See?
There you go. Okay, that was definitely some Mega Man style sound effects when the witch died. Burn the witch.
I just saw one of the things in the background. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't normally see those. Yeah.
The little fireflies.
Well, and there's little shadows of people sometimes.
Yeah.
Walking
of zombies
in the background. Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't even notice that. That's brilliant.
And that was actually the original zombie sprite from the first demo before
really?
this one.
He got demoted. He's just an extra now. He's just walk to the background. Don't look at the camera.
Oh, bollocks. There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely seeing the super ghouls and ghosts influence with this level. Now I'm just waiting to see, like, the rafts to come popping back. So I'm guessing each different level is going to have a different theme to it, then?
Oh, yeah.
No areas revisited or anything?
No, there's a lot of thought has actually went into these levels, along with the enemies, because we don't want to really repeat too much.
Yeah. Makes sense. Oh boy, these things. And I'm afraid to use my missile attacks. I don't want to get blown backwards. That's why. Get over here.
Quintessence.
It does look like a quintessence. Your magistrate reached the verdict. Guilty.
Oh my god, now I gotta catch that again. It's okay, we still have 2 lives left, we can do this. I beat it with my last life on the first demo. Now, are you guys gonna do like a crowdfunding campaign, like a Patreon or a GoFundMe for this? Or, I mean, are you guys pretty much well set and ready for fun, or to go with it?
No, we just do it out of our own pocket. Really, if we did a crowdfunding thing, that just puts too much pressure to get the project done in a specific way. So we'd rather just do it our way and not have to worry about taking the funding, and launching a campaign like that's going to be a full-time job all its own. It's hard enough to get development time in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys need a
That-
marketing guy.
You know, that said, you know, we may, you know, in the future, with some of the other projects we've kind of got in mind, we may end up crowdfunding those. But this one's pretty much set.
I mean, the only reason I was thinking that was because the Lust from Beyond game by Lunarium, they hit their crowdfund goal in, I think, less than 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And I think the same case with Agony was hit pretty quickly. I don't know if y'all ever saw Agony at all on Steam.
Yeah, I actually played that recently.
Oh, nice. Okay, and I just noticed this Medusa head for the first time in the background flickering. That's awesome. That's stupid creepy. I mean, this goes back into, like, the Dark Souls-y old gods kind of thing, like these long-forgotten gods.
There are actually statues, I believe it's in Ireland, that are in swamps that are super creepy that those were based on. You should check those out. They're insane looking.
Well, I know traditionally in Celtic lore was they would do sacrifices to the bog gods. So people would be killed ritualistically to pacify the bogs, and then ergo they would have a good harvest. But then, whoop, hey, get out of here. You are just a persistent little bugger, aren't you? Okay, because last time I fought this guy, he fell into the swamp.
There was one point in the demo before I put in his final sound effects that he would just say "weave" when he jumped.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still have that file? I'd kind of like to hear it.
No, I don't, unfortunately. I might could find the sound effect. I could look for that, but I don't have it in the code anymore.
Damn. Because I could totally use that for when I get back into streaming. I could totally use that for a new subscriber. Whee! Ooh, another dash. In my life. It's my life. Bust at the Bon Jovi.
I ain't gonna live forever.
I just want to live when I'm alive. Okay, this is the cutscene I never got to see because of the codec fail.
Yeah, my bad.
Dude, that's your problem. That's all good. This is a neat scene. I never thought. Oh, hi.
Well, that's an interesting outfit.
Allow me to introduce myself.
I know who you are. The harlot of Hollow Hall. Aaron, the first vampire.
Ah, so I see that I'm still everyone's favorite
Yeah, so-
bedtime story.
I don't
I'm glad
know
to
how
know
many
parents
people
still
have
think
noticed
so
this
highly
too,
of
but in the
me.
latest update where we showed
Especially,
Aaron's
I would
update, she
guess,
doesn't have the purple
the
in it
fathers.
anymore.
Oh, really?
Really?
She's no longer at the
That's
Bauhaus
disgusting.
concert?
Anyway, you want to tell me why you and your little cult have been ransacking villages and running from me? Besides the obvious. You know, the fact that I'm the only human capable of killing you.
I love her
You are
snark.
far too sure of yourself, girl. As to your question, they were in our way. Humanity is in our way, to be frank about it. But no need to worry your not-so-pretty head about it.
Ouch.
Things will
That's a
change
mean
soon
eyebrow.
enough. We already have what we need.
Wait a minute.
Me neither.
What is it you have, Exact?
Well, I guess she tries to pluck it, but she's a vampire, so she can't see herself.
Yeah, that's right.
Gets a little carried away.
Okay, where have I heard that grunt before? Oh, yeah! Alright, it's dragon time, kids. I love that epic little, what's it called? Like, almost anime cutscene when,
Oh, yeah.
when she summons the dragon. Oh god, this part.
Like a Samurai Jack kind of vibe.
Oh, Samurai Jack. Love that. Yeah. Come on. Dodge the core. Show me wax on. Alright, it's dragon time, kids.
Mother-in-law does the dump dart.
Oh my god. The mother-in-law references are just popping out left and right. Dang it, Bobby. That boy ain't right.
One of the scenes.
I
there
won't
something we
confirm
should
if he's
know?
actually accurate about the mother-in-law
That's
thing.
right.
But yes.
Talking about the voice acting, and you know, it's been great to have some up and coming talent, and folks that have really just sort of nailed the characters and really gotten them down. But it's also been fun for a lot of
First
the, sort
or
of
not,
the side characters.
Vampires aren't as much
The
of a
three of
pain
us
to get
have
rid of
gotten
as a fairy tale
to record
suggests.
some voices, and like my wife
Now,
has recorded
do
some
you
stuff.
want to just
and I
go
think
ahead
a
and
few
end
other,
yourself,
friends of
or
some
do
of
I
ours.
need to help
so
you
that's
out?
also kind of been
The
fun.
fact that you
to
think
sort
you
of
have any
ourselves
chance of
as sort
stopping
of
us
background
shows what a
extras
fool
as
you
well.
truly are, child.
Are
The
there gonna
die
be any
is
NPCs you
cast.
can come with?
Everything is
things
in
kind of
motion.
like from
Azrael will
Castlevania
live
3?
again. And the blood of your father
Not
will
so
make
much
sure
from
of
a,
it.
from a gameplay perspective. There'll be other characters that she interacts with that are, they're also protagonists.
What does my father's
but,
blood have to
but
do with
not
Azrael?
on the gameplay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So-
I wasn't sure. I mean, because that would have been kind of interesting if you really go through with that. And that's it.
Fin.
Hooray! Demonetized again. No, that's a really awesome demo, guys. Once again, I have to give you guys credit for all that. I mean, I really enjoyed it immensely. And I can't wait to see what the end results are. And if I have any questions, comments, or want to submit a bug, please email us, or you can talk to the developers right here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess before we call it a session, are there any other plot points or like teasers you guys want to share about the game?
I'll leave that to Matt. He's the boss.
That's right.
That's a tough one. I really don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you. I don't want to give too much away. I think Josh and Nick might be able to gauge.
Right back on us.
I'm gonna pass it right back to you.
Pass the book.
Well, I just don't want to go too much into the story. I think that they could gauge what is a more accurate thing to divulge that isn't too much. I mean, the gameplay speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
The story-wise, I mean, you're looking at, with that demo. I mean, like I said, you're looking at it and based off of an early version of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of what we had to do with that demo were, there were some points of that we had to write on the fly.
Yeah, that we wrote for the demo.
Yeah, because we were like, we kind of want to give people an idea of what this is kind of about.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of need to have a little bit of a story there, just in that small little section. But that a lot of that stuff gets expounded upon, in the full game. one of the things that's kind of interesting about the story in general is that it's, if you look at these as say like with the structure of Star Wars movies.
Mhm.
All right, so if you just count the original 6 movies, because that kind of tells one complete story.
Mhm.
Anathema is essentially a Return of the Jedi. So it's essentially starting at the end.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of stuff that's happened previous.
Right. And there's going to be some of that lore gets thrown into the main thing. And if the game's ever successful, we've got, I mean, plenty of prequel stuff to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And with that, with the story,
there's a lot
also,
of that. There's an entire Bible written on this game.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Her dad was a really interesting character,
Yep.
And some of the folks that he worked with. I mean, he had a sort of a group of people that were his allies, and there was interesting dynamics with them. We've also explored. Josh has written some spec documents on what happens in the world of the game after the game,
Mhm.
And how characters, paths unfold. And so it's been a lot of fun coming up with all of that. But again, I think just the biggest thing is that she has an important job, but she doesn't feel important.
Mhm.
And I think that's something we can all relate to, whether our job's important or not. Sometimes I think we can all relate to not feeling important. And so there's a bit of Luke Skywalker in her in terms of that sort of hero's journey, but it goes in some hopefully unanticipated directions. And I think it'll be fun. We're hoping anyway that it'll be a fun story for people to enjoy as respites from the gameplay, which is, as you know from the demo, really, really enjoyable stuff.
Mhm. Definitely. I mean, so with that being said, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to talk to me, this random Joe Sixpack on YouTube, about Anathema and Esperware and the future of it. I really do appreciate it, guys. For those that are watching, do you guys want to check out Anathema? I will put a link in the description below to their Steam page, as well as to, as it said in the credits, www.anathemagame.com. I'll also put a link in the description below to their Twitter page, so you can follow Esperware Interactive on there. So with that being said, before we call it a cast, do you guys want to bring up anything else?
Yeah, just appreciate everybody's support, and we're hoping to make Esperware a thing. I mean, we've got other projects in the works that
We've got spec stuff on 2 or 3 other titles at least, so we're working hard. Matt's working the hardest. Josh is working second hard. I'm working third hard. But we're all working hard to create something that people will enjoy. That will, if you're of a certain age, might make you think about that nostalgia for the past while doing something modern. And then if that's something that people really enjoy, we're looking forward to some future stuff as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, dude, y'all show so much potential. I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
All right, so with that
Yeah,
being
thank
said, y'all, before I call it a session, if you like the Boogie Night Project and you want to find out more, I do have a Twitter page as well as a public Discord channel, and links to both of those are in the description below, as well as a link to my temporarily defunct Twitch page, and of course, if you are so morbidly interested, my Patreon account. So otherwise, I hope y'all have a fantastic afternoon, and I'll catch you on the flip side, all right? Peace.